Hello, everyone. It's Hayden Lee here, Master Certified Executive Life and Leadership Coach, and I'm also an accredited Enneagram practitioner, teacher, facilitator, and speaker. I've had the privilege to travel all over the country and all over the world teaching the Enneagram and speaking about the Enneagram. I use the Enneagram in all of my coaching work, whether it's one-on-one coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and corporate settings. I use the Enneagram for teams because the Enneagram really is a fantastic, phenomenal system of development, right? To help us really become the best versions of ourselves, and increasing that awareness and looking within ourselves really is the best place to start if you want long lasting positive change in your life and within your organization and within your company, right? If you work in a corporate setting. And the Enneagram right now is all the rage, right? It is popping up on Instagram, on social media, conversations around the dinner table, conversations on Zoom. And I have my own theories as to why I think the Enneagram is all the rage right now. And a big contributor to why the Enneagram has had this huge resurgence right now is because so much of the world right now is out of our control, right? Whether it be pandemic or sadness and anger around the conversations on race and the inequalities that are happening in America and all over the world when it comes to race and human rights violations. There's so much happening outside of our control. People are stressed, they're sad, they're angry, they're losing jobs, they are triggered by these horrific events happening all over the world. Um, due to race and injustice. And the Enneagram helps us look within ourselves for the answers because so much right now is out of our control. So, how do I define what the Enneagram is? So for me, I do not see the Enneagram as just a typing tool, and I do not see it as a label, and I do not see it as putting you in a box. In fact, that's not what the Enneagram is. Sometimes people who don't understand the Enneagram very much, they see that, oh, that's just another tool to type, it's just another label to put me in a box, and it's not. In fact, the Enneagram helps you see how you've put yourself in a box, and the Enneagram helps you expand that box to help you really integrate into your whole self, into the best parts of all of you. So I define the Enneagram really as a system or a map, right? So I define the Enneagram as a system of development and self liberation by deepening your self awareness and understanding of the core motivations of why you do what you do. So let me repeat that. I define the Enneagram as a system of development and self liberation by deepening your awareness of who you are and the core motivations of why you do what you do. So I love the Enneagram because, like I said, what do I mean by self liberation? So, self liberation really means helping you understand yourself in order to break free of the chains and break free of the box that you've created for yourself, right? You have your default thought patterns, you have your default action patterns, and you have your default feeling patterns. And it's great to become aware of what those are so then you can actually further expand your box and, like I say, paint with all the colors. I want you to paint with all the colors that are out there instead of just painting with the default colors that you usually use. And that's why I see the Enneagram as so much more rich and vibrant than other tools out there. I don't even call it a tool, I call it a system. But it's very much more vibrant than other tools out there because other tools might just type you as these are your behaviors and this is what you typically do in a team setting, this is what you typically do at a cocktail party. Whereas the Enneagram goes so much deeper, right? It goes deeper to why you do what you do. It also helps you create instant empathy for other people when you understand why they do what they do. And using the Enneagram as a map, right, because there's lines and there's wings and there's centers of expression embedded in the Enneagram to help you unlock all of the parts of you. So, a brief history lesson of the Enneagram. So, first of all, what does the Enneagram even mean? So, the Enneagram, the word is a Greek word, it has Greek roots, whereas Ennea means nine and gram means drawing or drawn. So, in simple terms, the word Enneagram just means a drawing that involves nine, right? And that is what the Enneagram is. It's a drawing that has 9 points, right? Not, which corresponds to, of course, the nine types of the Enneagram. And a brief history lesson of the Enneagram is that no one really knows the origins of the Enneagram. Its roots are thousands of years old, and the roots of the Enneagram have been seen in ancient Greek mathematics, in Sufism, in Judaism, in medieval Christianity. So there isn't really just one person who invented the Enneagram or created the Enneagram. The Enneagram is not something that's, copyrighted, like one person invented it. But there are some major contributors to the Enneagram in the modern world. So one of them being George Gurdjieff. George Gurdjieff, who was born in what's modern day Armenia, really was the person who uses the first person to use the symbol of the Enneagram, which we know it today. And that was in the 1920s when George Gurdjieff did that work of using that Enneagram symbol with which we know today. And then it was in the 1970s when Oscar Ichazo, who's from Bolivia, started attributing or connecting the personality types with the symbol that George Gurdjieff did. So now there's this symbol that George Gurdjieff presented in the 1920s, and then now in the 1970s, Oscar Chazo starts talking about the personalities connected with the symbol. It was also in the 1970s when Claudio Naranjo, a Chilean-born psychiatrist, was known to really bring the Enneagram into the modern world of psychology and the modern Enneagram, which we know it today. Claudio Naranjo really went into further detail, going deeper and deeper into the nine personality types of the Enneagram, and he is widely credited for bringing the Enneagram into modern psychology and the modern world, which is why today we use the Enneagram a lot in executive coaching, in corporate coaching, in team coaching, why it's used in organization development, organizational psychology, life coaching, relationship coaching, couples coaching. It is Claudio Naranjo who gets that credit for really introducing the richness of the Enneagram system into the modern world of personal development and professional development. And that brings us to how we use it today and why I use it today is because it is such a great system to help us really understand ourselves better and to liberate ourselves from the chains that we've put ourselves in. Right. So I'm super excited to be bringing this Enneagram series to the world and to share more of my passion and information and expertise to the Enneagram to you. And I want it to be both bite-sized pieces and easy to understand, but also I want to honor really the roots of the Enneagram, those who laid out the Enneagram, the forefathers of the Enneagram before us. Because I think that's super important that while there's been this great popularity in the Enneagram and people are talking about it, there's also a blessing and a curse to that, right? Anytime something becomes more mainstream and more popular, it can get diluted. And I want to make sure that the power of the Enneagram that really looks within our soul, right? Because the Enneagram really does encompass mind, body, and spirit. And I want to make sure that I honor that and not to just water down the Enneagram that you are just nine types and that people are just nine types. And although it's fun to talk about how different types of the Enneagram order something at Starbucks or what TV shows are on the Netflix queue of each Enneagram type. I think that's fun and it brings some lightheartedness to it, but I want to make sure that we honor the importance of the Enneagram and how it is very deep. It's not just a fun typing tool where you just, type people by stereotype. Because remember, the Enneagram goes to the motivation of why we do what we do. It goes so much deeper than just people's behavior. It goes to the motivation behind people's behavior. So the Enneagram series that I'm going to launch, I want it to be fun. I want it to be easy to understand. I want it to be manageable in bite-sized pieces, but I also want to make sure that we honor the depth of the Enneagram, the many, many layers of it. And for you to know that the world's best Enneagram teachers out there are still learning about the Enneagram, right? There's always more to learn. There's always more to develop. So it's not just a quick thing that you can, take a free test online and then think you know everything about the Enneagram because that's just not the case and that's just not possible. So with this Enneagram series that I'm launching, it's going to have panel discussions of all the types, interviews of all the types, and really dig deeper to help you have actionable items of how you can use the wonderful Enneagram system to really become your best self in all areas of your life and for you to really understand the human experience better. So if that is something that interests you, please definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hayden Lee Coaching. That's where all of my Enneagram series will be, as well as subscribe to my newsletter at haydenlee.com to make sure you're updated as each video gets released in our Enneagram series. So I hope everyone's having a great day, and I encourage you to look deep within yourself for the answers, because that is the best way to liberate yourself and have some control over what's happening in the world today. So I'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.